going to start over at the driver door and move on across and talk about the things that are on the dash to get this vehicle down the highway. Driver door, probably not going to be used a whole lot. That'll be up to the driver. It's quite a long way down there. There are some foot cutouts into the side of the body so that you can come up in and out that way using this handrail to grab a hold of and hold on to the steering wheel to safely get in and out. When you're securing the vehicle, make sure the driver door is locked. A slide lock here to lock the driver door. Sliding windows, both sides with a screen in them. If you want to just have fresh air rather than run the air conditioner. Starting over here on the left side, we have a Continental brand TPMS or tire pressure monitoring system. When the key is on and you allow that to power up, it's going to give you an indication of the tire pressure in all 6 of the tires. And when a tire pressure is too high or too low, you're going to get a warning or a message that you need to give some attention to the tire pressure. So that's here for you on the extreme left end of the dash area. Down below that, we pretty much self-explanatory reading the labels. We have a windshield day shade. It's a light filtering, still can see through it like a sunshade. Then we have a night shade if you want to have privacy in here. You can operate the night shade. Right below that on the left side, upper mirrors. That's going to allow you to adjust. A little misleading there, and I might talk to them about maybe changing the definition or the labeling on that, saying upper mirror or lower mirror. Okay, I got it now. I'm seeing the left and right here. It's a little different style than the last vehicle that I was in. Upper mirrors left and right, lower mirrors left and right. There's the L and R right there. Also heated mirrors for those in Puerto Rico. Probably won't be using that very often, but it will heat the surface of the large mirrors. Below that is our HWH leveling system. We like to call that a stabilizing system. As far as leveling, it can only handle about 3 degrees out of level, either left, right, or front to back. They're still working on a system to let the air go out of the airbags. This vehicle has 2 airbags in the rear, which has air pressure in them, around 60 pounds of air pressure, and that will maintain a smooth ride and a level ride. And the thing that you need to know about on airbags is before you would press the auto level button, there's going to be a switch that will be installed on here before this vehicle leaves that is going to have a label next to it which says lower suspension before auto level. And I'll give you a quick explanation of that. When you level a vehicle, you're going to be taking the weight off of the suspension, and an airbag that has 60 pounds or so pressure in it needs to have weight on it. And you remove that weight and it could dislodge the bag or cause damage to the airbag. So that switch will be here and will allow you to get the air out of those airbags before you hit the auto level. You can also manually stabilize or level the vehicle. Documentation is in the bag using the arrows around the vehicle if you want to just stabilize. If you're too far out of level, you're going to get an excess slope light and the leveling sequence will stop. And that's either choose a better parking spot, or if you have to park there just so that the vehicle isn't rocking as people are coming on and off on the steps out there, you can use a manual override and just stabilize the vehicle that way rather than using the auto level. Continuing on across to the right, we have our parking brake. Even though this vehicle was requested to have a hydraulic brake system rather than air brakes, you have an air-operated parking brake, and even though we have a park position in our shift lever, wait till I light that up, some have it, some don't, you always want to apply the parking brake when you're shutting down and have chosen your parking space. Always remember to pull to apply, as it says on the parking brake, and push to release when you're ready to travel. This is also a dual purpose brake system. It requires air pressure to keep that brake from coming on, and should you start to lose air pressure, here's your air pressure gauge, which we didn't get to yet here. It's going to normally be around 100 to 120 pounds. If you're driving along and you're starting to lose, you've got an air leak somewhere and you're losing air pressure, there'll be a message come up in a message center on the instrument panel saying low air pressure. Gets down to about below 90 pounds, around 70 pounds into the red area there. Hopefully you'll have time to pull safely off the highway and investigate why you're losing air pressure. If you ignore it and it gets down low enough, the second purpose of this is to automatically come on. And there's a spring mechanism on the brakes, and this will pop out. Whether you want it to come out or not, the brakes are going to come on because you've lost air pressure, and you're going to have to restore that air pressure before you're going to be able to move the vehicle. If you don't have air pressure and you push that in to release, it's just going to pop right back out again. So be aware of that, and that's all documented also in the info bag. There are two battery systems. The first battery system has numerous names, but it's called chassis disconnect. And the chassis batteries are two 12-volt batteries that are used to start the engine. If the vehicle is going to be out of use for an extended period, it'd be good to have it when you're powering everything down, is to go ahead and turn off the chassis batteries. The other battery system, and we'll talk about when we get back to the power panels, is called the auxiliary batteries. So you've got two separate systems on board. The auxiliary batteries, the main purpose for them is to work everything on the 12-volt DC panel, which we didn't get to yet. And they give you a battery boost switch. Let's say for whatever reason you've run down the engine start batteries, they're too weak to crank and start the engine. You can go ahead then and press and hold. And I emphasize hold. It'll pop right back out again if you release your finger. You have to hold your finger on it and turn the ignition key to start, and it'll connect the two battery systems together and give you a boost to get the engine started. Same thing if you're back at the power panel back there and you're trying to start the diesel generator and it isn't cranking quite fast enough to start, you'll need a helper. One person up here holding the battery boost switch while the other person's back at the power panel pressing the generator start switch, and get you around that problem. Shutdown override is the next switch. Hopefully you never need to use that, but the purpose is that if you have a damaging fault, there's something going on that's not good with the engine, and the engine's going to give you different warning messages, whether it's over temperature, low oil pressure, whatever it may be, and the engine can shut down. Well, you're still parked in the driving lane of the freeway. You've got to get the vehicle off the road best that you can. So the shutdown override, when the engine has stopped due to a fault, press the shutdown override. It'll give you maybe 10 seconds or so, or maybe a little more, to do a restart and hopefully get the vehicle safely off the road, and then it's going to shut down again until maintenance comes out and determines what the problem is. USB charger, convenience USB ports here for whatever device you'd like to charge. Exhaust regeneration. It's going to be a little noisy here. The jacks are partially deployed and the warning tone is going to come on, but there is a symbol that may come up here that there is an issue with the pollution control device called the diesel particulate filter, or DPF. And if that warning comes up, and I'll see if I can show it here real quick. Looks like a pipe right there with air going through it. We'll do that again. Right at the end of my finger there. If that comes on when you're driving, also the symbol is duplicated right there on the switch. Same thing was right there. That says there's an issue there with that pollution control device. And the first thing you want to do is to get it up to freeway speed, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, whatever. That may in itself clear out that filter, and the warning light will go out and you're good to go. If that fails, you may have to do what's called an exhaust regeneration. And with that error